Thank you for joining us today to share your personal experiences and history within the community. We greatly appreciate the sacrifice of your time. When answering questions, feel free to look at me instead of the camera. Also, please avoid yes or no answers as we are interested in detailed accounts from your experiences. Please take your time in answering these questions and do not have to answer all of the questions asked. I will describe the purpose of the interviews and our intentions for the data collection from the interviews. Then I will start with the questions. Once again, thank you for your time and your honesty. In collecting oral histories of individuals from diverse groups, the purpose of asking participants to discuss their cultural and perceptions of others' cultures serves to reveal common themes across race, ethnicity, and religious boundaries. All cultures observe the common custom of sharing food at social events and holidays. Our intent is to bring groups together with an understanding of common experiences serves to expand our knowledge of diverse groups. In building an archive of oral histories focusing on these relationships, the expectation is to see what we have in common, also how we are different. Our intention is to investigate your stories will give us better understanding of your experiences and culture. Your participation and voluntary participants may withdraw from the interview or refuse to answer a question at any time. The archive interview will be housed in Valdosta State's University Odom Library Archive.
State and spell your first and last name.
Deron Morine, Deron Morine.
Where are you from?
Maryland.
Why do you think you were chosen for this?
Because I'm a black college student.
What are the groups you are a member of, such as family, religious, or social? You are not required to disclose religious affiliations if you do not wish to.
I'm a black college student, a son, a nephew, and an uncle.
Which one of these groups has had the greatest impact on your life?
I would have to say being a black college student.
How did you become a member of this group?
When I was about to graduate, I really thought about what I wanted to do. So, a lot of people I know didn't really go to college. A lot of people follow different trends. I wanted to start my own.
Why did you originally become a part of this group?
I wanted to further my education. Also, I figured that after being in a curriculum where I was going to school for over 12 years of my life, I wasn't really sure how I would adjust to being an adult. So I figured college would be the best place for me to find out how to deal with that.
Why are you still a member of this group?
I want to continue to be a member of this group until I further get my degree.
Describe a memory of an experience or event that really reflects your relationship with the larger group.
The first event that really changed my perspective was, I would have to say, a step show. I typically didn't really like step shows because I really didn't understand the point until I actually went to one. And I seen how it kind of unified all types of different black students. People that I would never really see even talk to each other that work together for that goal. And that's how I knew, like, coming to college was the right decision.
Describe a food experience that you have had as a part of a religious or social event.
At college.
Yeah, whatever.
Empanadas.
Where? Like any place in particular, or you're just like, you know?
I don't know, I was just trying to think of something, food that changed my life. Should I say tikka masala then? Because I really do like tikka masala.
How do you feel when you are with an extended group of family or friends as a part of a religious or social event where food is served?
Typically, it all depends on what type of event it is. Because since I come from a really close-knit family. I enjoy almost any event we go to together. But when it's like a different type of social or religious group, it kind of has a different connection because it's like we don't know each other, but we're all here for the same thing. So it has a different type of feeling to it, but I generally prefer to do the events with the groups because, with family, it's kind of like you're obligated to want to help each other, where you do it with the groups, it's like we're all here for the same purpose.
Are there specific norms or expectations at these social events where food is present? What are the protocols, such as who eats first, who prepares food, who speaks for the group?
Well, any event, I want the females to eat first, along with the elderly, along with the children. I usually typically go towards the end because, mannerism is important, and most of the time I'm really not in that big a rush to eat. I can always go home and eat because when I go to these events, it's really about unity.
Are these events liver or subdued?
I honestly don't know what the answer to that question is.
That's okay. Big part about life is figuring out answers for yourself, and sometimes an answer is not actually having an answer. Are these events something the extended group anticipates with enthusiasm?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
It's publicly broadcasted everywhere. Flyers, social media, retweets, and text messaging, mass. Like, everyone that
Is social media like the biggest thing then when it comes to connecting people to events? Is that the top dog, you'd say?
I would have to say so, because without social media, most people wouldn't even find out about the event. Because despite these social groups that they have, each group is usually pertain to their inner circles. So if it wasn't for social media, only a few people would actually stray outside of their circles.
Do these events create or maintain social cohesion/stability?
Yes, they do, because they have to be ran a certain way. It has to be planned a certain way, or else it's just going to strike pandemonium.
Okay. What are the procedures or series of actions that reinforce social expectations or behaviors?
Just typical things. Organized in a good fashion. Make sure that people aren't rude or yelling out terrible comments to distract people from what they're actually there for, the main event. You don't want everyone's attention to be on the side conversations, rather the purpose of the event being hosted.
Are these events generally a positive part of your culture?
Yes, because these events actually strike back to a lot of stuff about black fraternities and sororities. So like things such as stepping shows is just classic demonstrations of how they used to interact way back to when they first started. That's dating back to the early 1900s. It's just keeping up with tradition.
Is the participation and interest in these events declining or increasing? If increasing, is the community receptive to the growth? If decreasing, does the community find this concerning?
I find it to be actually a little of both. Between the social groups that it originally attracted, I feel like it's actually decreasing, besides the people who are actually pledging. But as far as other people who are not a part of the group, I feel like it is increasing. Before, say it like a black fraternity step show, you didn't really see too many people outside of the black race at them. Nowadays, you see all types of races showing up for step shows and all types of events. People are way more open-minded than they used to be.
Are these events generally patriarchal or matriarchal, and what traditions led you to this opinion?
I feel that most of the events are patriarchal. Just because there's always been the standard that, male dominance. Even though it's believed that, the matriarch is always the birth of whatever happens, but it's usually what the patriarch says is what's given the final rule.
Are these events open to people outside of the intended social or religious group?
Of course. That's the whole reason we post it on social media. That is the way that we get more people to join. Because if it wasn't for that, then how would we ever spread in numbers? How would we get our message across? It would just be the same people talking to each other. It's kind of like a box. Everyone's just trapped in there.
Have any people outside of the intended social or religious group attended an event?
Yes. Many people, actually.
Are you? Oh, my bad. Continue.
We welcome a lot of people to show up to these events. So, I've actually been to some events that I wasn't a part of. Some of the events I helped host, I've seen many people who were never at any meeting show up, and some of them they're more eager about the event than I am sometimes. Most of the time I'm tired if I helped host it, but they're the main ones getting the crowd hype. So,
well, in that case, are there any events done with other social or religious organizations? Like cohesive, like type things, multiple parties?
we try to, but sometimes it doesn't work, but a lot of times we do. That's how we get things done quicker.
Okay. And finally, why is it important to you?
Honestly, I feel like it's really important to me because we just came a long way since how things used to be. Like I said, back to when most of these organizations started, it was really about isolation because people had to do these little groups. That was the only way they can get their message across to each other. Outside the group, no one was trying to hear it. And I'm very ecstatic that we live in a society nowadays that we can just interact with all types of different people who aren't even a part of the group just to spread our message and joy. Because, that's really what we unified to do in the first place. And now that we're able to do it, it's just awesome.
Well, again, I'd like to greatly thank you. I'm very appreciative of you taking the time out of your busy schedule to answer a few questions for us. And I hope that we can interact more and talk more about your community and bring more knowledge to other communities. Thank you, Mr. Morine.
Oh, thank you. And let me know if you have any more questions. That's what I'm here for.
All right, man. You have a good one, all right?
You too. And don't forget to be at our next event.